Brapmoto are proud sponsors of Commentary Corner. Located at 5 Lisburn Road, Moira, the former Motorshocks building, this is the place to go for something different. Only open 2 hours a week to the public, Wednesday 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. Everyone is very welcome to drop in and check out the weekly change in stock, ranging from mopeds to fireblades. Davey from Brapmoto is looking for all types of motorbikes, vintage, classic, sports bikes, to damaged end-of-life bikes for dismantling. Also job lots of bike spares. Top cash prices paid, in particular looking for good, clean road bikes of any age. Brapmoto is proud to support many racers on the roads and the short circuits.
Funny, but I think you'll enjoy it. I'll do a wee bit of talking.
Yeah, we'll do that then. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Comedy Corner, and welcome back to another fantastic episode. We have an absolute superstar with us here tonight, and of course, thank you once again to Phil McCallen Motorcycles for letting us sort of parade on his parade. Joining me again is Korie McGreevy. Korie, have the honours of introducing our guest.
Our guest, there's a bit of a backstory to this. So I rang his oldest son and says, listen, do you think he'd be interested in doing this? He says, he's away, sunning himself here. Mm-hmm. I'll get a word with him when he's back. It's no problem. Got a WhatsApp saying, yes, he's game for it. Right. So I have this piece of paper beside me, right, at work, and I like to do like a bit of a description or like a bit of a title for when our guests are come. So I was writing it down. I was like, well, I'll write about, his sons in the racing, will do it about all his own success. And I kept writing it and scribbling it out. And then I wrote something and I was like, right, I'm happy enough with this. So I says, our guest has the most prized set of bollocks in Irish racing history. If he was a horse, he'd be worth millions. Alan Irwin, thank you very much, man, for coming.
Yes, thank you so much, Alan.
I'll have to get the wife to watch this.
So,
I enjoyed that myself. It took me, I was like, why? But why? And then
you have to think about he's got the 4 fastest sons.
4 fastest sons in the country.
Some people have 2. Some people only have 1. Very rarely have 3, but you have 4.
Mm-hmm.
Of probably the...
Well, some people have 1 or 2, as you say. In my case, 1 started, 2 started, 3 started, 4 started, and they all loved it.
You just couldn't keep it in your trousers.
Just couldn't leave me alone.
So, how we do these podcasts, we want to see, like, where did Alan Irwin and motorbikes first meet?
Me? My first, my uncle Stan, motocrossed when I was a kid, 3 or 4, I had a 3-wheel pushbike.
Right.
That's why young I was. So we'll say I never had a 2-wheeler at 4. But in them days you got big 3-wheelers. I'll go back a long time now. And as my granddad Stan, his next door neighbour, Jimmy Cunningham was his name. He was quite good motocrosser.
Right.
Has a boatyard or something in Donegal now, I think.
Okay.
Anyway. So I went to watch them motocrossing. And then I learned how to go around corners in 2 wheels on my 3-wheeler. That stayed with me all my life. I'm 68 years old now, so I can still see pictures from that watching my uncle motocross. They're still there,
So that was when you were obviously a child then, and that's still imprinted in you. So when did the kind of bug really set in? When did you ride bikes on the road to start off with, or?
Oh, legally.
Like a lot of us.
I went to school, and it's funny, you could never do it now. One of the teachers had bought a 250 BSA, and he was going to have a project to do it up along with the pupils. So it never materialised, but it sat in the school in a corridor.
Right.
Or a wide part of it. And I bought it off the school teacher.
Brilliant.
You bought it.
While you were still going to school.
I bought a 250B. Could you imagine a school teacher's son? Like, I would have been 13. Right? And I was in Belfast at school.
And the teacher sold it to you at 13?
13.
A road bike?
Road bike. Right?
Okay.
Where's the welfare here?
Welfare. I wheeled it out of the school and round the corner and started it up and read in Belfast to Monkstown. And in a helmet.
Not even a helmet on?
Not a helmet.
Brilliant.
Didn't have it.
Imagine doing that now.
So that was my first bike. But it was heavy and things. So then I started and bought old bikes and it's destroyed some lovely bikes. Velocets. No, a boy used to come home from work and we used to ride in the field in the estate opposite these houses. And the man must have watched, and he come home one day and he had a 350 Velocet. There was this like the flat exhaust. With
yes, another one you have.
And he called me over. He says, "I watch you riding in here every night." He says, "I retired from work today." He says, "There's a motorbike for you. Give me."
He gave you a motorbike?
Give me.
And what age would you have been here?
Maybe 14.
Maybe 14. And he gave you a 350 Velocet?
Yeah, would not. Hey, I was straight round the house, the hacksaw to the mudguard. The hacksaw, it's crazy.
Hold on, this was a stranger?
A neighbour?
Well, he lived opposite. I lived in Monkstown Estate.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of waste ground. We would have rid in there.
Right.
And the Jordanstown Road, if you know.
Yeah.
So you had the old Monkstown houses. So he lived in the house facing that bit of thing and would have watched. Okay. So he retired from work. He didn't need his bike no more.
Didn't need a bike.
He just called me over, said, "Watch you ride in here." You know, give me.
We should try to get him on the podcast. He's probably not live anymore. Imagine Money give Alan Irwin his.
Is one of his first motorbikes.
Like, could you imagine the school selling a motorbike to somebody like health and safety?
That's class.
Yeah.
So would that have been in the early 70s then? Late 60s? Or we're giving too much away here?
70s, probably.
70s.
Early.
I'll be class.
It could be late 60s. I'm born in 57, so I was 14.
Do you remember how much that bike cost?
What one?
The BSA?
£2.50. £2.50.
£2.50.
What?
That's what I paid for it. £2.50.
I thought you were going to say 250 quid. £2.
You were buying Norman Nippies and Hondas 50s, 70s, 90s for £1.
For your hip knees and
an
egg.
Class.
Yeah.
So then you got the 350 Velocet off the boy across the field, and you just abused that for a couple of...
I destroyed it, cut it to pieces. Like, see, I'm like, see now when... I'll say 2 hours, probably less. I was out in the field on it.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. You'd wish you'd have it now.
I could hardly lift it when it fell over like I'm
Is that right? You wouldn't be jumping too many tabletops for that.
Like, it's a way of life, and that's when then. So that we messed about in fields, and then I bought a CZ motocrosser, proper bike.
A CZ?
Oh, a CZ.
A CZ?
CZ, like a proper motocrosser, not a homemade. This was a real bike. Got a bit of age about it. Like,
it was just a CZ?
Oh, I think I paid £90 or something for it. Like, and like, there was we used to ride up at the back of Mawsley. There was a bit waste ground with a bit of a track. And I remember, I don't know, well, Christy Guy was like this. I think he rode for this Nations, and he won like A motocrosses. And him and his dad ride brand new Husqvarnas. They lived in Mawsley.
Yeah.
Right. And Christy Guy, like, we all went to God, there's Christy Guy. So Christy Guy was out, so I beat him. His dad was raging.
Was his dad like an original motocross dad?
Oh yeah, you see the bikes in the back of the trailer, like, and with the thing, and everybody was going, like, can you imagine it?
You
just beat Christy Guy around here. But like, we read on it all the time. Like,
yeah, so you were probably like the proper schoolboy, like, hero then. So
no, to be fair to Christy Guy, it was a wee bit more grass tracky. It was like, but like I can just picture everyone swarming around on after it, like,
the man of the estate now.
So,
like they were carrying him back into Monkstown.
So they all like had the police at the door quite a few times. Like, you know, nothing for badness, just like had a habit of going out on a bike.
Aye.
So I was saying like, that basically was my love of bikes. Jackie Hughes was our local postman.
Jackie Hughes was?
No way.
Jackie came round. He had to drive like the bigger van.
Yeah.
And he had to come round and be like, God, there's Jackie Hughes. Yeah. You know.
Is that right?
So,
I'll tell you, Jackie Hughes bought a bike off us about a month ago in this place.
I would believe he lives in Newcastle.
He lives in Newcastle now. He's a lovely fella.
He really is.
Yeah.
So Jackie Hughes was like our hero. And like Colin Dawson and all ones around Monkstown, around that area. So we started going to the racing. That was eventful.
Right.
Got a few penalty points on the way home.
Right.
Probably got penalty points in them days to get fined at court.
That was in obviously the bikes were in the back of a van and you're rallying to the race, or did you have it?
Oh no, we had a road bike. We got this. We progressed though.
Oh yeah,
it just rode.
We just read the watch, like yeah. And then got done for speeding on the way home. And then I done that finger.
Right.
And the government gave me £436 of disabled grant. And
where did that £436 go into?
I stood out. I got £500 off the insurance for it as well. Like, so I had £1,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Brand new one of them Kawasaki's, 900 Kawasaki, sitting in Kawasaki Centre in Donegal Pass. Anybody old school remembers where it was.
Yeah.
Davy Woods worked in.
Is that right?
I stood outside that shop for 2 hours with £1,000 in my pocket.
Brilliant.
Will I buy a race bike? Will I buy a race bike? And I decided in the end, no, I'm going to buy a race bike.
Yes.
I'd get killed if I'd have bought it. Like, I would have been mad on it.
And that would have been the Superbike at the time as well, wouldn't it?
Oh, that would have been the dog's balls.
Yeah.
Jesus. So that was you progressing on. You went into track racing there?
That was me. I bought a 200 Suzuki.
Right.
Probably get stitched in it.
Oh, right.
I took...
Sold the donkey.
Yeah. Crankcases for everything was scrap on it. But we got it. A few people in racing, the Euler ones helped me a bit, and we got it scored a half decent. And then, they were all young.
I love a timeline and love dates and stuff. So the first one, what year would that have been when you got the 200?
77.
77. What age would you have been then?
19.
19. So you got the 200, you got her put together. Where was the first
Bram
race
Falls took me to my first race.
Bram Falls?
Do you know Bram?
Yeah. Is that the Bram
Ian
Falls?
Falls' dad?
Yes. Ian Falls' dad.
Ian was a kid.
Yeah.
Right, you're young. So Bram will laugh because it's true. Like, we were at Kirkistown on Easter Monday. And Bram pulled into Grey Abbey. You just shouldn't do like what happened. Like, Ian was directing Bram home.
Right.
I fell out of it. Was them outside doors in them days and on copper.
Yeah.
They opened the door and I fell out on the ground and I was rode off. When the lights went on the house, Brian left me lying. No, Brian took me to my first races. Brian, like, you remember you're a racer, do you know what I mean? You are as well. My first ever race was St. Angelo.
St. Angelo?
Yeah, a guy died not that long ago, Ivan Walker.
Yeah.
Like me and Ivan, Ivan, Wilson, Lynn, Gary Dawson, Chris, we all run about together. We all raced in them.
Yeah.
And I got lost there.
St. Angelo's in
St. Angelo, so Ivan decided he wanted to race. I only had one bike. The pair of leathers I actually gave leathers away for years to young kids that asked me.
Right.
Because my first set of leathers, somebody had been cut out of them and they were stuck with glue. There was no like scrutiny.
You weren't
leathers
getting fresh RSTs every year.
So, no.
Just a pair of cotton shots and away you go.
We were their first race, and Aiden was in the first like qualifier, and I was in the second one. So Aiden went out, and they come in the second group. The first group's come in, the second one's heading the line. And Aiden's taking the leathers off.
Oh, you shared leathers as well?
We shared leathers. We had nothing. Right? Helmet, everything. So Aiden's taking the leathers.
My anxiety by hanging out of me.
The bikes are heading up the track. I said, hurry up. So I got the leathers and I pulled the leathers on. I said, Aiden, you must be sweating. You're soaking. He says, I pissed myself. Oh, God. Anyway, Alan,
tell me you took them back off.
I qualified and I was 5th or something in the race. And I never, ever, if I'm going to say something bad to the boys, I'll tell them 10 good things first. There's nothing as bad as somebody coming out, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this, and they'd probably tell me to piss off anyway. But I don't believe in that.
No.
I try and find good points and then drop a bad point in. So that was that. And Brian Falls said to me, he says, Kelly says, you stick at this. He says, for first race, he says, you were brilliant out there. He says, and that stuck with me. And then I won my first trophy at Mandela Park.
Yeah.
When was it?
No,
the following year?
Won it that year.
Is that right?
I got 3rd, but like a bike was slow and I was 3rd out of the last corner we had in the lane. This bike was just coming like I must have got up a lot, like just. I held that trophy. I had to sit in the back of the van. I went in the roof if I could get going. I sat in the back of that van and I held that trophy the whole way home. I wouldn't even set it down in case it broke. Still have it.
Yeah.
And if you ask me of all trophies,
that one's special.
Yeah, I always talk about it.
Yeah, that's what it takes. It just takes something like that. So the likes of Brian Falls telling you, listen, I'll stick at this. Like I genuinely see something in it that sparks something in you. Obviously, you found your purpose. Nearly.
Yeah. I'm like, that's a moment in life. Never left me.
Obviously, you kept going, and it's that, as Korie says, it sparks something in you. From 77, it was a very short period of time from when you started. You rode for Suzuki, and was it 83?
I rode 84, I think it was. 84 I rode Johnny Rea 750 Yamaha. I read 250, 350s, and I call that like a McAdoo. I think it was 140, 350s there one day.
Yeah, is that right?
No, I like. Do you want a 350 race?
You're a doer, like.
You're like 12 or 15 on the front row. Like.
No, like sitting there.
Move over, Dominoes.
Get out there and get in.
But like you progressed so quickly. Like obviously you were born to do it.
That's a few good rides with my 250, first 250. Like my dad gave me every penny he had. Like honestly,
that was going to be a question I had. Was your parents supportive?
Oh, they went to every race. Both of them thanked me in their deathbeds for the fun I gave them.
That's fantastic.
Getting emotional.
No, that's brilliant.
I know. Yeah. They were brilliant.
Yeah.
They were. My dad used to drive new cars, like every 2 years he got a new car. I probably didn't help. I done my driving test because he was never giving me out in a new car.
Is that right?
My brother would have got in it.
Yeah.
But me, I wouldn't have let me in it. Like
from what you've told us so far, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't. So he bought outer cars. And I blew them up. And that was... And they give me every penny I had.
Yeah.
To power them. I mean, like...
To get you out there and to get you...
They give me everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to hear that, if you know what I mean, because obviously, as we'll go further on, you've done the exact same for your sons as well, and it's evident to see that.
Yeah, and still would, you know.
I know. I mean, I well believe that as well.
If I thought it was time, would I do it? 100%. But I have to say this, like, did we ever mortgage the house? Yep. More than once? Yep. Did we have a ball? Fantastic. Still am. Do I have a mortgage? Nope. My wife, everybody says, like, I would have done anything. The wife would have been more so than even me. That's right. They make no mistake. Right. Like, she'd say to him, Glenn won the Irish 600 championship. He had no bike for the next year. And Margaret said to me, says, what's happening? I says, I don't know. I said, with nothing. And it says, well, do you know any bikes? I says, you'd probably laugh now because you say 4,000, it's nothing. Well, in bike terms, it's nothing. But then, if you haven't got £400, 4,000 is a lot of money. And I said, well, Mark friend's selling the 600 Suzuki. And it says, and what says it? I said, he's looking 5 for it, but hopefully maybe get out 4. I says, but what happened to money? It says, Margaret's house. Margaret, I says, you mad? Says, no, says I'll organise it. So then, and this is true, like, but he had passed away, and my sister phoned me and says, you going to buy a motorbike tomorrow? I had got the money organised, had the money there, like, and I'd found out about a 600 Honda in Dublin.
Right, okay. Oh no. Someone's ringing you.
That's me. That's my phone.
Right, we're back again. So we were explaining about your family and the sacrifices and commitments they've done. So you were going to tell a story about when Glenn didn't have a ride the following year. So
my wife had said to mortgage the house. And I said, are you mad? I says, like, we were probably struggling enough paying what we had. She says, I don't care. She said, get the money. So she says, get the money. If you live in my house, fine. I don't pay any bills. Margaret pays everything. Right. Just right. She runs the house. And she organised it, and we had the money. And Jerry Brennan, if you
yes, I remember Jerry. Yeah.
Jerry phoned me and told me about a 600 Honda in Dublin. He used to work mechanic on it, and it was Phil Mayhew engines, Motac, everything on it. Truck. So we said, right, we'll not go to Thames in the morning. I'm going to go to Dublin. We had massive snow at home. I had to walk down the road and get a boy to come and meet us. And I mean, my road was blocked. Like, it was 4 foot deep in snow. And off we went to Dublin. That's it. My sister, had phoned me the night before and says, are you going to buy a motorbike tomorrow? And I says, yeah. Says, where'd you get the money? And I says, I'm getting it on the mortgage. Yeah. It says, call here first. It says, there's an envelope here for you. Right. So my ma left £5,500. Is that right? In an envelope. And she said,
this was after your father?
He had passed away, yeah. And she said, I don't want anybody to know. She says, I've given you this money. She says, nobody, not even your brother. I says, right, okay, no problem. So went down, bought the bike in Dublin. Brilliant bike, great bike. Yeah. Glenn still holds that record at Medell Park and that.
Yeah. He does.
I remember that was quite big.
Good bike. Yeah. Good bike.
53.9 for the anoraks out there. I know, 53.9.
And you call me in Cyber Peak.
I'll give you so Glenn's out on it, and from he got on it, he took that, you get on a bike, he really took this.
Yeah. It was a Honda.
And he says, like, Dad, I'm coming out of that back corner, with your head out onto the bike track. He says, I'm spinning it up. And I go, dead on. He says, I really am. He says, like, I'm spinning it up. So after the race starts, the first race, I run up and up the wee steps at the back of the pub.
Yeah.
I'm standing there, and Glenn comes round. Sure enough, he come round. The next thing you're woo, spinning the six. Like, you'll probably spin yours easier today, but on the dry, and spinning it.
I remember that so vividly because that's when I started racing 125s.
Yeah.
And at that stage, I was in awe of Glenn because obviously he fucking looked cool. He was fast. He was coming into the last corner sideways. He was everything like you wanted to be at that time. Like, and it was just so vivid in my memory. See, when you were just describing it there, and I remember he had like the white Alpine Star levers, the white Honda, the 53.9. I just remember just that so vividly. But hearing it from your perspective, it's just fantastic.
So my mum, she was in a summer frame then. So she had a ride down her and my aunt, both of them were in summer frame.
Right. So
that was all right. So they come down and says Glenn had won. Says, that's a nice bike you bought. Says like your dad would have bought that. That's why I give you the money. Says he had done it. I says, right. She says, you do me a favour for the next race. I says, right. I said, what do you want, ma? Says, I want you to put Fred Irwin race down the Fern. Right. My dad was called Fred. Yeah. I says, ma, I thought you don't want anybody to know you bought this. Says, I want the world to know why I did this. So you're so competitive.
Brilliant. Class. So it runs in the family, then, the competitiveness.
That's competitive, believe me. And the next race, the comma always remembers come down in the summer frame, down the pit lane. And she looked in at the bike. She looked and seen Fred Irwin racing down the Fern. Right. She just looked at me and went, anyway,
class.
Happy.
That was enough.
And that was her. Like, she was happy as better that Glenn was going and winning. Yeah. And so she was absolutely.
With your dad's name on the bike.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant.
Every penny well spent.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, Alan, I want to go back. We've got a wee bit sidetrack there, but it was brilliant to sidetrack there.
Yeah.
I want to go back from your 200 days to the progression. So, after the 200 racing, did you go on to 250s, 350s then?
I hadn't, truthfully, I hadn't the money to go and buy even a good second-hand 250. You know, I worked in I worked in a motorbike shop. Then I might have been left that. I got sacked. I used to work in Owens Brothers, the house of Honda.
Yeah.
I got sacked for going to a race when I should have worked. I got offered my job back 2 weeks later. Like,
it was more of a threat.
No, he meant it when he said,
oh, really?
Believe me.
He was suspended.
I mean, me, John Bourne, and Remy Murphy all worked together.
Right.
So I bought a rolling chassis cheap. And it had Sirianni forks on it. They were pure crap. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But the frame and all was decent. And I bought an engine and bottom end of Norman McKinney. He was a pilot in the pilot boats.
Right.
And I think Davy Cowan, Newton Arts, gave me a barrel. And I got a head and I built up my bike. I got exhaust someday and we built it up. It actually wasn't, the front forks weren't the best forks on it.
Yeah.
But you learned how to ride it. And my best that I could remember was Kirkistown giving Derek Huxley a real run for it. Finished second behind him.
Yeah.
But this was not the best 250, believe me.
No.
But I was. There probably was I on the edge of glory, and maybe a bit more, but I got away with it.
Yeah.
And I come away. You've been there, both of you. I come away, and people were patting you in the back. I was young, like I lived in the estate.
Yeah.
I had not like Brian Reid, and they laughing, but it's truthful. I had no silver spoon behind me.
Yeah.
You know, and that. I started, my uncle Stan, as it's called, but was a manager in STC, and I got a job in there, and it really took off then. Noel Robinson, Slamish Water.
Yes.
Noah worked in STC, and we all started STC Motorcycle Club.
Right, okay.
And we run, I suppose it was a license to make money. We run dances. And the standard club was cheap for drink, and that's what people come to it.
Yeah.
We got bands in and run dances and thing. And I bought me Donny Robson's 350 Yamaha, and I took it out, and it broke down. I took it out again, and it broke down. I hadn't bought it. Donny said, "Look, try it." It was £1,800. And I said, "No, I'm not going to buy it." He says, "Let me take this home." He said, and I says, "Trust me." And he gave me it the next week. He says, "Ride that." And he was leading the 350 championship, the last race. He had to go to England to ride for Mal Carter. He was riding for Mal, and he was missing the last round. And I think Geordie Farlow was second in the championship to him. And he phoned me at the house with no mobiles in them days. He says, I couldn't believe it. He says, I phoned Curly Scott. He says, "Did I win the championship?" And Curly says, "You did." And he says, "Who won? Who won it?" And Curly says, "Manson." And he's going, do it. He couldn't get it, and then he turned around and said, "I won it."
Class.
Brilliant.
And that there 350 really set me on a path. I'd honestly say I was a better 350 rider than 250.
Is that right?
I'd probably say
Different animal altogether, aren't they?
I like power.
Yeah.
I love my 600.
Yeah.
The 600's the dream to ride, and you can abuse it and treat it rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Superbike will learn you manners.
Yeah.
And that 350 really did set. I think I won 8 350 races.
Is that right? That previous year?
Yeah.
The year after, I guess.
No. Yeah, I won the next couple of races.
But that's like the 350 is where you honed your craft, and it sets you up for the rest.
Won the 350 championship the next year with Joe Lindsay. And
they do say if you can ride a 350, you can ride anything.
Is that right?
I had to get you to go on a 350.
No, dude.
I know where there's a lovely one.
Unless you want a couple of pieces of 350 together, don't be giving me a 350.
My style would probably have been close to Glenn's. Like Glenn's a bit old-fashioned style.
Yeah.
Like you ever talk to Andrew? Andrew's say like go to a test day with Glenn or somewhere, or Spain. Glenn's the elbow down, the knee down, hanging right off it.
Yeah.
Says, but see, once it comes to anything official, Glenn's knee goes out.
He pulled up right.
He goes back to the old-fashioned style.
Set up the leg sort of thing.
But in my young days, I would have had my knee in the deck. So I would have said, like, actually, I'd have had that part of my leg.
Right over. On one limb. Steel frame, 350, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
No 17-inch wheels then.
No, the 18-inch Avon type things.
Yeah. I'll stick a Avon tires.
Straight near, and you can laugh, but it did it. Of course it did. It was still like, it was a wee bit easier then, but like, did I ever stick a hacksaw, have her in gear and go on in the middle of the tire to cut a groove in it to get it through straight near?
There's rubber underneath the canvas.
And that really did. And that then when you start getting the success, it's just the sponsorship started, and people came to depot me bikes, and then John Rea.
Oh yeah,
a great relation. Me and John got on. We had a great. I took that 750 Yamaha. Like I took them a 350.
Would that been the same 750 like Joey would have rode and stuff? So
that was after. Well, if you know me, like Billy Gibson worked for John Rea.
Right. Okay.
Billy Gibson said to me, he says, "John Rea's thinking of giving you that 750 after Joey went to Honda." Like, I'd never spoke to John Rea. I was still like young, and I looked like John Rea, like,
this massive.
He's big man, like, and they turned around, he gave it to Courtney Junk. They didn't give it to him. And I won my first set of new leathers the next year.
Yeah.
On my 350 at McAdoo, Manx Leathers give a free set to the winner, a top set. And then it was must have been a lesser, but they were top to me, believe me.
Yeah.
The second place and third place got £100 or something.
Yeah.
And Courtney Conlaw won it on Joe Miller's 500.
Right.
Courtney jumped was second in the 750. We were dicing for second. Me and Courtney, I wanted the damn leathers so bad. I've never had a new pair of leathers. Like, I say I wanted them. I want. So every lap.
Were you still wearing the glued set?
No, I had a pair of blue and black ones I got second hand.
Right.
And they weren't glued. And they were fairly tight. So they were. And so if you ever see a blue and black pair of leathers, that's the first leathers I ever had.
Set of leathers you ever had?
Somebody hadn't been cut out of. I'm not swearing my life. The boy was cut out of them.
Yeah.
So anyway, Courtney in every lap, I would come up the end of McAdoo at the straight, up the inside and coming in.
And you were on the 350?
On the 350 on the brakes and then. So in the last lap, I think he was getting wiser. So I went down the straight and he's pulling away. And then I switched the outside. I come right down the outside. And I remember we're coming into the right. And Courtney was, I swear I'm telling the truth, like, he was that busy looking for me coming on the inside. He hit the tires on the inside of the track. I was going round the outside. And I come out of the thing, it's snaking. Just get me to the chicane in front. Because if I got the chicane in front of him,
you got him.
You were safe.
I'd have beat him. And I come in the chicane front.
Yeah.
I got second place.
Brilliant.
And I got myself a
set
brand new pair of Manx leathers.
And what colour? Were they custom?
They were blue, white and orange.
Blue, white and orange? Class.
I got measured for them.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Made the measure suit?
I was talking to the boys just over a week ago that measured me. Where did I? A couple of weeks ago.
A night show, was it? Or?
No. He was in Bangor Smith. His name was... I should know his first name. He says, I remember measuring you for your first leathers.
Flipping heck.
Manx leathers.
Small world.
That's class.
Small world.
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Sick.
And anyway, that and all that, yeah. So...
did you get the 750 in the end then?
The next year, John Rea came in.
He says, right, you're ready, young buck.
I broke my kneecap at Kirk's and practiced. I'll keep mentioning Stan, my uncle was with me. He was the manager.
Right, so okay. He was head of operations.
Of STC.
Yeah.
So he was above my bosses. Well, he was the manager of that whole thing. And we went to Kirk's on the Wednesday. He went with me. So, I was always getting the day off, if you know what I mean.
Brilliant.
And I'd read the 750 and I come in, jumped on the 350 and come down on the chicane right and I flicked just too quick with being a bit lighter and no knee pads in them days. You know, with me you tape some up, a bit of tape around for buffing. But there was no kneecap and my knee hit the curb and my thigh went boom. I come out of the chicane. I remember I stopped at the back of the pits, I leaned against the wall, my leg, and I'm looking across, and they're all standing, nattering away at the far end of the pits. I sat there that long, the pain started to ease a bit, and it was throbbing. And at 350, you'd have bumped. I didn't bump. I sat on it to start it. You know, just bang, I bumped it and read it back round into the pits. Come home.
And you actually broke your knee, did you?
I broke my kneecap. But we packed up and I was driving home. I said, Stan, I'm a bit sore. I said, do you want to drive us? So Stan drove it home, went into the house, had a bath, no showers in them days. I hopped out into the Mercedes, the 508, the square front things. I drove it to the wife or the girlfriend was in the house. And pushing the clutch and dead on. Went into the house and I said, I hurt my knee, knee's a bit sore. Sat down in front, they had a big range stove. Sat down in front of her, and gave me a cup of tea. An hour later, I went to get up and the knee was didn't pain. So
then, how long were you out of action then with your knee?
the Northwest.
The
I
Northwest.
cut the plaster off.
Yeah.
Right.
Disaster.
So,
And you were riding up the Northwest, were you?
yeah.
Or you were? That would have been your first year on it? Or?
Yeah, I could tell you a story. If I have to tell you.
you're going to have to tell us now.
I have to tell you, cut the plaster off myself, right?
Yeah.
Because the Northwest coming up, sitting in the back, out the back, the 750 lean against the coal bunker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get on it. Couldn't get my knee to bend. Couldn't get.
Because the tendons and all were so tight.
I couldn't get on it. I says, flip. I says, I've got swelling in my knee. I must have fluid.
Yeah.
So I went down to White Abbey Hospital. And then I says, fluid in my knee. I used to drive a van with my knee up in the dash. You only go for so far because your leg, the blood run out of your leg.
Yeah.
So down in the hospital with my knee on the dash. And
Rash man.
said, I need a fluid in my knee and I need the fluid out. All I wanted to do was get my leg to pound. So I don't know where I can say this. A doctor, but not from this country.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And he said, no problem, I'll take it out. I said, right, great. So this nurse is standing behind him, just going to me, shaking her head. No. Like, don't let him.
Oh, shit.
And I'm going, flip, I want to go to the Northwest.
Yeah.
So anyway, he pulls out this needle. It's like a knitting needle and a syringe. He's just pushing out my knee. He couldn't even get it in it. It was too broad.
yeah.
Oh, he says, maybe I'll make a small hole. So he gets another finer needle and sticks it under my knee. And then he finally gets the big one and he's holding around. Oh, you see, oh, God.
So he countersunk you first. And then.
Countersunk me. Well, the next morning, I couldn't bend my knee at all. Like,
Jesus Christ.
but finally, we got to the Northwest, so I stuck sponge in the seat. And I was just able to get on and no more.
Did you still have the cast on?
No,
you're
I was still over the shoulder. So I went out in John Rea 750. I'm heading down the back straight, heading for Korie. Sitting there and the leg's weak.
Yeah.
It's fully bent in the sponge from my back.
Crumbling
blew my leg off the footrest. On one hand, grabbing my leg.
At 160, 170 mile an hour.
The leg back on. See, when I come in, they had to grab the bike because I couldn't get my leg. My knee was so bad, I couldn't get it straightened. So anyway, that was my Northwest. It was a bit of a disaster.
That was your first Northwest 200.
Was that your first road race?
On the 750?
On the
first ride on it.
First ride on it was heading down.
You didn't even do a track or nothing.
No, I had
you jumped on the T-set
first track day, I
750.
bust my knee.
So you didn't even get a scoot on it?
No, that was me straight to
Could
Northwest.
you imagine that?
Yes. That is my dream.
Yeah.
I mean, the draft.
My dream.
Flew off, like, even though I made the race, like, I went out in the race, I was going down there, like, it didn't blow off once, it blew off a few times.
Now
That's from pulling the leather.
That's not ideal.
Cable tan it to the framers.
Jesus Christ.
And then when they stopped, they couldn't get my leg down, so they had to catch the bike, and it just fell over. So, anyway, then a few weeks later, after the TT, Joey come to McAdoo. And that was probably the next step I would call in my career. I'd keep you here all night.
Yeah, no.
And Joey was there on the Honda Britain.
Okay.
I won.
Wow.
But first short circuit.
Yeah.
On it. And
was this still with this is John Rea 750?
John, like, making no mistake.
Yeah.
John Rea took Joey to where he went before he went to the Honda.
Yeah.
Right. John Rea was 100%. I actually said to him, I said, you annoyed I won that? Annoyed? He said, delighted.
Brilliant.
Just you keep winning. So then all the riders at home, Jordan, they'd all bought 500s.
Yeah.
Because these were the way to go.
Yeah.
And Ernie Coates come over to me and said, I started winning then. I was winning week in, week out on the 750. And they started, some of them sold their 500s and bought 750s again.
Right.
And Ernie Coates said to me, Alan, he says, I had so many spares left for 750s, I thought I was never going to get rid of them. He
was thanking you for bringing the 750
back again. So then that's when that went along, and then we were at the road racing too.
Yep.
And I met Danny McManus. Was invited, a friend of mine had invited Danny to the table.
Right.
Or to my table for the night.
Mm-hmm.
And we met Danny and Mary. And Joe Highlands, you call him. Joe was my manager. If I had anybody that could have managed me.
Yeah.
And Joe would have called me Skinny. He said, Skinny, your man's buying you a new 350. Joe liked the Fogger 10.
Yeah.
That was that. He bought me a new 350 Yamaha, and then he bought me an RG 500 just before the Northwest. He went to Holland to pick it up. And I didn't get it this Thursday.
So it was a proper Grand Prix bike.
Oh, proper,
Yeah.
brand new.
Buy anything from Holland,
Brand
you know
new.
it's
First, like
And this was Danny McManus bought you these bikes?
Danny and Mary.
Brilliant.
was this in the early 80s then? It would have been
84 it would have been Northwest. I got it
Yeah.
for the Thursday night practice, and went out on it, went good on it, was well up the grid.
Yeah.
Like second row or something. Never read it before. It's straight out in the road race. It's not the easiest.
No.
You find the limits of something. You know. So I went out. I was actually on third in the race.
Right.
And the chain seized. The links.
Right.
It would have been the chain that come with it.
The knuckled up and
Just rocked.
Yeah.
Like when I say seized, I mean seized. The bike just lost all power completely. And we met. That's where I met Barry Scene's mechanic, Mick Smith.
Mhm.
He was at the Northwest, and Danny had went down. He had been talking to him, and he come up, and the bike was brand new, like, and dropped the forks and took out the springs and cut so much off the spring front with a grinder, like with the front springs, and brought a different spacer, the wee all.
Yeah, to give a bit more preload.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've been honest, he's done my forks. And he was good. I got to know him. He would have helped. And he set the RG up. And I won 108 races on it or something.
well, not one bike.
No,
108.
What?
So you just dominated the 80s.
And
You're just devastated.
that wouldn't have been easy to do.
No,
you
you
think
think
of
it's
the
the
name.
Ulster rider.
At one
The
stage,
names are- like you'd have been Stephen Cole and all, wouldn't you? And
yeah.
Barlow and
But on a 500 at that time,
There was no one touching you.
somebody watching this will say,
No, you can.
because I'm
I know,
not.
but you can't.
But you get an air about yourself.
Yeah,
You understand?
And a
I
confidence,
understand. Don't worry.
Right. And when you have that air, I'd seen me sitting maybe at Ocadoo on the line going, the thought of not winning it.
would have
I
made you
depressed
sick.
you.
No, I wouldn't even have thought. I thought I was on the line and winning it. I was going to win it. And saying, I'm going to go flat out the whole race and see how far I can lap up to.
Brilliant.
You just
Fourth
had
was
that.
the best ever club.
Fourth, lapped up the fourth place. Brilliant.
But that's
Fair
just
play.
shows.
I could never get third.
You get an extra trophy for
But
that.
I was pathetic. I was pathetic in the wet.
Yeah,
Oh, it was woeful.
Yeah.
Oh,
but you're totally wet in this company anyway.
no, but
That's a crazy
do you
statement
know-
to say, considering who his sons are now,
I know.
how brilliant they are in them conditions.
But you didn't have wet tires at the start, and then these wet tires come out, and I never used them.
That's right. Should have forgotten air class. We weren't at the start. Forgotten air class. You're not allowed wet.
Well, they just forget about them.
Because
Cut
they weren't
slick.
there.
They weren't there.
They
Well,
weren't
no, they
there.
didn't have
There
them.
wasn't wet. And then these wets come out, and I wasn't using them. And I always remember Ocadoo. And not Carl Wilson, his brother, Colin. Colin won the big race on a 350 or 250 or 350 in the wet.
Yeah.
I got lapped.
Eat a big 350.
On
You
my
got
own.
lapped
I got lapped
on the
on my own.
500.
I would have normally won, but I am competitive. Still am and always have been. And that hurt so much. And the next week we were at Knott's Corner. It was wet.
Wet
And
in
I
the
says,
corner.
Dawn, stick a pair of wet tires in that bike. Don says, "You put them wet?" So I said, "Put them on it."
Mm-hmm.
On my 350, and I went out behind Colin Wilson. And I went, and everything Colin Wilson done, I just went with him.
Yeah.
And I won.
Brilliant.
In the wet.
Yeah.
And I won the next 4 or 5 races, and then I fell off and went backwards a wee bit.
To try and claw your confidence back. But you imagine that RG 500, a full Grand Prix bike with cut slicks in the wet.
Oh, I wouldn't
Especially
even dare to entertain it.
Arcade,
Like.
Lost Corner, 2 slippy holes, and you wouldn't have rode that.
Right.
No.
So, anyway, we'll give you a funny one. So, Mick Grant was at Ocadoo the year, this would have been the year before, and I was riding Johnny Rea 750.
Yeah.
Mick, Joey, the whole lot. They were all there. It was what I considered I was fairly good on was a drying track. A bit like you're good with them inters. I do watch. I do know.
You got them special inters, do you?
No.
It's all about heat.
Psychological.
It's all about heat.
He can work them. If you work them and you keep the heat in them,
Yep.
you have the best tires in the race.
I heard, did you not go out at Mandela Park one year? Absolutely freezing. In the dry with full wet?
I did, yeah.
And one?
And one, yeah.
In the dry full with
Heat's your number one friend.
heat. Yep. Keep the heat.
No, you're right. You're right. So you're drying track.
So I went and John Race and I put on an inter. It was a 484 in them days. Just front. You'd have used them with them classic and a slick in the rear. Mick Grant come to the line, slicks front and rear. Joy. I probably would have had a slick on if I had time. I hadn't a spare wheel. I hadn't time to change it. It was all right.
The Ernie Coast getting tortured. So
I won it. I won the race. See, so I came in. Man, I said, right, don't get the slick in the front of that. And we put the slick in. Come out for the few races later for the second race. I'm sitting there in the line. There's Mick Grant with the inter front. The track was definitely drier than it was.
Yeah.
It was perfect at this stage.
Yeah.
And I was laughing. I said, he's following me, seen me with the inter. He put the inter on. So I won that. So anyway, next year, I got Danny bought me the 500 Honda, 3-cylinder. So we're at the Northwest. We come with 16-inch front wheel. First time I read it, Ocadoo, first lap, I got this shit noise. I wasn't even going fast. Just tapped it in the front just went. Down it went. Like, so embarrassing, like to have boys Grand Prix 500 bikes.
Joey had the same problem with that, one of his, didn't he?
At the very start, but Joey's bike with 17-inch front wheels.
He swapped the front of the wheels,
The next year's bike come out with 17.
Right.
To be fair to Joey, Joey come over and says, "Oh, you can't ride that, but 16-inch. It's impossible." He says, "I'm all over the van. I give you a wheel." They give me a 17-inch wheel. So that was all right. Read it, great. Won on it. Didn't beat Joey all the time with some great races. Joey was smart. Joey had an NS 500. I had an RS. An RS.
Would that have been like the customer spec one?
Yeah,
like
the NS was factory. It had different ignition, power valves, and 3 cylinders. Mine's still a really good motorbike. 50 grand, brand new, in 1984.
Then?
50,000 quid.
What would that be equated to now then, do you think? That would be well over $250,000.
Oh, well over.
I'd say
Probably half.
Half, right.
There's no hip in these lanes.
Don't get me wrong. It was me found it, and we bought it for £9,500 or something. That was a bargain.
Yeah.
Right. In America. So anyway, me and Danny went to America. That was eventful. Good old crack. Got the bike and was back. So I was staying in the Northwest. And I qualified second to Joy. Grant was third, so front row. But I have to tell you this because it's a true story. I've throughout life I've done things to help, not help. Got Joey, I had something Joey would have got it off me. Joey would have got it. He wouldn't really pay you for it, you know. But it was just his way.
Yeah.
So I done the gearbox on the Thursday night the last lap of practice, I felt it at fifth gear, just a wee jump, just felt a wee niche. And I said, I said, done something wrong. I think something wrong with fifth gear now. I felt it in the last lap there. So it was a side loader. It was great to have. Stripped the clutch out of the case and pulled out the gearbox. There was a tooth broke off fifth gear. Where the flip you get in fifth gear for 500 Honda?
Portrush.
Simon Buckmaster was there. I'd seen Simon first. I said, Simon, you know, gearbox. I broke a tooth fifth gear. No. So I went over to Joey. I says, Joey, I have a problem. He says, what else? I says, I broke the tooth of fifth gear. He says, I says, you any gears? Let's see it. Dom was standing behind holding the gearbox, and I looked at him. I had hay in. He says, hay in. I says, call at the house tomorrow. I says, right, what time? 10 o'clock? No, and he says, 12. Right. So the people had this myth that Joey working all night, but he actually slept half a day. But he wasn't just a tool. He may have worked half the night, and he didn't get up at 9 o'clock. So I was at Joey's house 5 to 12. Like the day before the Northwest. I'm sitting in the grid to Joey. Joey, I went to the door and Linda says, how long, Alan? Joey comes out, fag in the mouth, hair stuck everywhere, straight out of bed. And he says, I said, am I too early? No, you're all right. So we went over in the shed. He had a box full of Honda 500 gears. Wow. Like a milk, no one in plastic, flat, long thing, full of it. Right. And he says, do you know, I didn't know this. He says, do you know, I had to ride my Formula 1 bike in the first race. He says, you're faster than me on my Formula 1 bike in their 500. He said, Honda may have to ride it in the first race, but I can ride my 500 in the second race. Right. But Honda wanted it run before the Isle of Man, the Formula 1 bike. Yeah. He says, and I'm fixing your bike. Oh, nice to. So, to be fair, when I say fixed it, he crack tested every gear. He put 7 gears or maybe more. Yeah. He totally rebuilt that gearbox. Jesus. I said, much do you? No, it's all right. Go ahead. Like, if you had said £1,000 in them days,
you would have found it from somewhere. Like.
No, it would have been cheap.
Yeah.
You know, no, I wouldn't take a penny. Right. So anyway, it comes. So I was sitting on the line, and we're sitting there. I still only had the front wheel Joey had lent me. I had no spare wheels. And I'm sitting there, and the next thing, the rain comes on. And I mean rain. So I don't even think I had a front wheel stand, never mind a front wheel. So I was on the back stand, and my mechanic says, hey, what are we doing? I said, what can we do? So Mike Grant up in the stands, Joey's up in the stands, they have their wheels right. Mike Grant kept looking to see what I was doing. Yeah. No tire warmers. No, you're talking the heat. I'm sitting there with slicks front and rear, and that road soaking wet. And Don says, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to do a warm-up lap and see if I can find any grip. Yeah. He says, you can't go out in the wet like that. I says, what's choice? He says, do you want me to run the Billy Moors? I turn around and look, and Billy Moors are way up. I said, Don, you haven't time? I says, well, I haven't time. I said, no. He says, are you going to ride? I says, Mike Grant kept looking at my front wheel. It must have been from McAdoo. He thought I was real smart.
You thought you were
half psychic.
This wizard?
I says, Mike Grant keeps looking at the front wheel. He thinks we know something that he doesn't. I said, just smile. Sit here. So off we went. The warm-up lap. The rain had stopped, and it was starting. See, in the Northwest, you could use a slick where you would never use one because the straight heats. That favourite word, heat is a great thing, right? The heat heats the tire. And if you get heat in the tire and you don't have standing water, a slick's not bad. So I'd say the slick was working. Don't get me wrong, I'd rather have an Inter, but it wasn't like And the road sits like that, so I was sitting just off the white line in the middle of the road. And I had no wheel spin.
Is that right?
I don't mean I could come out as quick as somebody in the enters. So Joey had entered front and rear on his Formula 1 bike. Remember, I was quicker in practice. And he knew it. Grant, he went enters. I think he didn't know where to go with me or not. I really had the man confused.
Yeah.
I just had no option. So I'm round at the end of the first lap, or come round, or I've done the second lap, and Don says, right, you pulling it in. I said, Don, I says, I'm getting a bit of dry ground out there, or no stand water. I says, them tires are roasting. Yeah. He says, I'm all right. I'll be careful. First lap, Joey, away. I was fourth or something. But it's quite good considering what I had on.
Lovely shoes.
And then third, by the second lap, there's dry lines. The tires were roasting.
Yeah.
They're getting their knee. Third lap, and the straight line heading over for the Magic Roundabout, and they're min-second, past Phil Miller. What a race. That one of the best races ever. Phil Miller. Hard race. Good, hard ride. And there's Joey in the roundabout. Joey's one enters. I'm in slicks.
And it's drying.
And it's drying.
Yeah.
This guy's like me in the dark round the roundabout. I'm down in the roundabout on the knee. Maybe a wee bit early, but I was getting excited. Round it. No problem. Right. The right went to come out, the thing went off a cylinder.
Oh, don't.
I couldn't believe it. I actually had said to myself going round and round, but I'm going to win this.
Yeah.
So, at the best tires, the track was falling into
everything was just falling into
falling.
place.
I went off the cylinder. I was sitting up, not like just sitting, touring along. Bong. I was just coming up the Mathers. I was still second. The next thing,
Came back on.
Fired up on the three cylinders.
Yes.
And away it went. Never missed the beat the rest of the race. Come in, stripped the barrels off, hadn't nipped the piston, hadn't done. The only thing, must have got a wee bit of carbon in the plug or something.
Yeah.
We couldn't find out why I'd done it.
It just blew it out.
So that was that. And I had a Beezer race in the second race with Phil Miller.
Where did you come in the first race?
Did you get
second, just behind Joey.
Yeah.
And where was Miller then?
Northwest podium.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was in 87.
86.
86, right.
And 2 seconds of second in the second race. I never had a great race with Miller, and the things Miller said to me after the race, the three of us were on the podium. He says, Alan, Joey passed me. He said, it's like about 500. He says, you passed me. He says, slipstream. Tell you another story on that. And
he was able to hold on to you in the slipstream, but Joey's bike was
the whole way to the line, like maybe half a bike over. I came out of the last corner of the head staggers. I went in early to make sure he didn't go up the inside of me, and I'd never been in that early in that. And there was a bump, I hit the bump, and she took a head staggers. But you're going to laugh because you've been there, both of you. Like, I had to turn the power on where it was in head staggers. Or not. Miller was right behind me in the work Suzuki. Like, and I was
starting to buck you everywhere.
It's actually a video. It's still a video about it. But if you ever watch, it shows you, have a look and they're coming out the things.
Yeah. I can picture it, I can see it in my mind. Like,
on the way out, and Miller behind, down over the line. But during that race, I learned something which I've always said to Glenn, I'll say to anybody. The Northwest, Miller had acceleration on the 4-stroke of me, and I had top end on the 2-stroke, even though he's in 1,000 and I'm on a 500. So down the back straight, heading for Korie, I'm slipstream. It's a big, long right curve, and then you'll come out of it and sort of then brake for turn left. That curve, and I'm coming like that there, and I come, when I done that, it must have been the way the wind was blowing or whatever, but there was a vacuum. And you felt like a whoa. And I went across the road. Like, I was right to the edge of the grass. Like,
so when you switched him, you felt like a pressure against his bike. What's pushing you?
What do you call the word for aerodynamics.
Yeah.
Something with the way the wind happened and the thing, and I get sucked.
Yeah.
Not only that, I get sucked across. I sucked Phil Miller with me. Right. So after the race, we were standing on the podium. I'll tell you, the next lap, the same again. I'm coming down the straight. I come to there, I'm like, I'm in that.
Shut her off.
Right? I've never passed her, ever.
Is that right?
No.
I know what you're talking about. You're banked over and you're trying to pull the bike to the left, but it's...
You're going to laugh at me and I'm going to tell you exactly. Do you remember Seeley hit the grass?
Yes. Yeah.
It's the exact same spot.
Is that right?
And what was he doing? Passing. It's the exact same spot. Do not pass. You don't need.
Suck them in.
You ain't going to win the Northwest passing there.
Yeah.
I was going to say Stuart Easton the same, but that was a completely different scenario.
So, anyway, that was that. So after the race, we were on the podium. Miller, and we were chatting away and having a laugh. And Miller says, "What the flip happened down the back straight?" He says, "I thought I was going over the hedge." I said, "You thought you were going over the hedge?" He says, "Shit, I had no control." He says, "I was just going like that." I says, "I was the head side of you, and you thought you were going over here." And it was just the whole the aerodynamics. Just the way the wind was blowing.
You could hear buffeting on your head. When you're stuck in it.
Both of us, like as I said, and you were panicking, and I said that I was the head side of it. So good guy, Phil Miller.
Phil Miller, he was well sought after, wasn't he?
Yeah. Good guy, hard rider.
Yeah,
red hard.
Phil's the one with he had a crazy hairstyle, didn't he? Yeah. It's the same thing.
That's why you like him.
Yes. What do you think? I'm like a replica?
Yeah. Right, like him too.
But then again, like he doesn't. I think I have maybe told you when you were young and you were racing. I remember me and Johnny Rea went up to Knott's Corner. I think Jonathan was riding some pit bike thing, and you were racing when you were in the wee
mini motos.
Right. And we watched. And after the race, we both come over to your van.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm being honest, why did we come to the van? I spoke to your dad. I think your dad thought it was some big red sponsor. Why did it come over? Because there was talent there.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Is that right?
There you are.
There you go.
I appreciate that one.
There you are. And that was you and your brother, and we come over after the race, the two of us. And I spoke to your dad. Your dad had long hair in them days.
Yeah. I'm starting to fade a bit now.
Is it?
Due to my problem. Due to me.
Your mum.
Okay. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
I'd actually come over just to say how much talent I thought was there watching us.
And this was senior, Johnny Rea senior?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
He wasn't just as large then.
You and Johnny had a great race.
We had a load of great races.
Going to Ockaday.
I think Johnny's losing weight. I think he's on the skinny jabs.
Oh, is it really?
I don't know if
you hear us, Johnny? He's lighting you up.
I think he's on them. I do. He is losing weight.
Yeah, he's losing weight.
He is losing.
Maybe he's just getting the steps up for a man.
Maybe he's going to replace his son here. Maybe he's getting the Yamaha right.
Probably going to try and get into a parallel some of these days.
But there was a story that I heard, and you could probably tell me if it's true or not, that you and Johnny Rea raced on the way to Ockaday, and I don't think you came out too well. You ended up upside down, over the hedge somewhere.
Dawn near done it the week before. Dawn was riding.
Right.
And he locked up braking for the track, and it was wet again the next week or 2 weeks later when the same thing come down the outside, the wrong side of the road for the braking.
These are in vans, like going to
Mercedes van,
going to Ockaday.
There was 11 of us in that van. My mum, my dad, my uncle,
what in the van?
Chris Wheeler, me, Dawn, for flipping 11 of us in it.
What was the big urgency? Just to get...
No urgency, just...
He was racing Johnny.
Just racing.
Fucking nuts.
Straight through the fucking hedge. Straight through
the hedge.
Oh, it was like being inside a washing machine. Like rolling.
With your man down on the back?
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
Like, I walked out. I thought I walked out the door. I walked out the windscreen. There wasn't any windscreen. Don was hanging by the steering wheel with his leg. He broke his pelvis.
No.
It was caught up with the steering wheel under the seat in him.
Oh my
He was
God.
upside down. I was half dazed, walked out past him on the field, and then you realise, Jesus, everybody's in it. So I went back in, and there was one of them big jacks you had. That was on top of my ma's head. And she had 2 black eyes. My dad broken ribs. My uncle collarbone bust. I was like, all I had was a wee cut in my wrist. Dawn pal, like I was almost at the hospital. Like,
Yeah.
I was all right. Please come.
Did you get Agadu?
I could fucking problems like.
I did get the track later in the afternoon.
Oh, really?
No, not the race. it was a club meeting at the end of the year thing, a bit of crack.
Close to club. Yeah.
I remember before they were waiting on the ambulance come and the police come. And the van just went through the hedge, and the number plate was ripped off the front of it. And the policeman's going, like, the doors are lying open and everything, like, protection come through, the bikes come through, they were going down, and the protection bust, and the bikes come right into where we all were.
Through the bulkhead?
Oh, I through the bulkhead. And we were, the policeman was going on to me about the front number plate, and this and that, and dangerous driving. And he says, I'm doing you for no front number plate. I said, seriously? You just went through the head. The number plate's land somewhere. I said, there's number plate. Oh, I can't see none. He says, I'm writing, and he's writing down. They heard the now look, there's a red diesel. He never caught it. He done Dawn for dangerous driving. Now, he told us that if we got the van brung out of the field on the phone, he says, if you take the van back out the way it went in, the farmer doesn't want it towed to his field.
Yeah.
He says, if you take it back out and repair the fence, I'll let this drop.
Right.
So Ray Sawmills come down with their big lorry with a crane and lifted the van out onto the road. Me and Johnny Rea went down.
Yeah.
The next day. And flip me, the van was sitting on its wheels, but the whole van was that shape. The door, you could no doors shut.
Twisted the chassis.
So we got no windscreen. Put our helmets. Tied the doors shut.
No, you didn't.
What?
You didn't drive it up the road, did you?
We drove it to Glengormley.
No way.
I had to put bust the water pipe with the radiator. I had to fix that. And we drove that. Hadn't lost all the days, so there was still some of the time. And pulled it back out through the hedge. And me and John went back to the yard when John Rea was in Linden Lee, just outside Glengormley. Yeah. To his yard. Joey got the back axle out of it. Because it gave him 7 miles an hour more than the motorway.
Could you imagine, right? Imagine, I just have this image in my head. You two fucking ages driving down the road with your helmets on.
No windscreen.
No windscreen. Imagine you get like
straight past the police station.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Imagine you got stopped by the police. Policeman got to the side of the door and seen these two fucking men with their helmets on.
Here, son, you've no number plate.
And the best about it was, done everything the thing, sent the boy down and put the concrete post of his concrete wire, with the wire through the holes. Repaired the fence. Perfect.
Right.
And the cop done us. Done for dangerous drive.
Even though
he said he
back on his word.
I went back on his word and done us. Or done.
Dirty.
And I paid the fine. Because Don was my mechanic.
Yeah.
Even though he ripped my fan off.
Class. Right, so I can't even remember what stage we got the race in there.
We were in 86.
Do you want to do this in 2 or 3 stages?
We're going to have to do a series. This is how
a series.
When I was on the phone to Ross was like, right, man, you're going to have to do this in like parts because we have to have like a series dedicated to Alan Irwin because there's not enough time in a day for you, never mind. But we'll keep going till, I don't know, if the sun starts to come up.
We'll keep struggling.
Right, so this is when you were still in the RG, or no, you're on to
I would have been riding John Rea 750, but now I'm like, it's just you mentioned that.
Yeah, it was just when you mentioned Johnny, I put it into my head. But
so
the NSR.
This is when you were dominating on your RG, and then you're on to the NSR.
Yeah,
and that would have been at the stage we're creeping into the late 80s. This is when probably like the 4-stroke era maybe came in?
That would have been when I was on the 86, would have been the Honda.
Yes.
87. Then we were going to Assen. I was doing the European and we were going to do the Grand Prix straight after.
Mm.
And I was at McAdoo, the bike went real bad during the race. Like, Joey passed me, like, we'll stop. Joey come over and says, you're going to Assen? I says, we're going tonight. He says, can he go out like that? I says, no, we'll stop. There's something wrong. Like, he must have nipped the piston or something. Mm-hmm. Joey says, right. And Barry Simmons was there that day. And the next thing in McAdoo, if you ever remember it, and when like it was around the oval track was the paddock. Yeah. There's Joey. And they need to do it. Run across the grass bit from his van to mine. Yeah. An NS, not in it. Yeah. But Joey, 500 engine. Joey spare 500 engine. And Joey run over and said, put that in the van quick. He says, if someone sees this, they kill me. No way. Joey, give me his engine. Brilliant. I spare engine.
Spare engine for he's heading over to
Do not put that through custom. He says, if Honda Britain find out I give you that, I'll get big trouble.
Jesus. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Joey seemed to be one of your biggest helpers. That's the third story that you've told me. Obviously, he's not your biggest helper, but
he seemed to, Joey did help a lot of people. Yeah. Even us when we were road racing. He came over.
He was good. Like, they go tell you another one when we get to that.
But obviously, you were basically teammates then. You know,
no, I could with respect
unofficial.
for each other.
Unofficial teammate, same bike stuff.
So, I see you're doing Assen, and then at what stage you're still doing your racing over here? You're doing road racing, but didn't even touch. You done the British Grand Prix at one stage as well, didn't you?
Done
a couple of times.
Two British, 3. Done a French.
Done bloody well, I think.
A qualify. See the qualify.
You'd 19th, I think. 19th would have been your best result.
Big far to me was 18th.
18th, brilliant.
But that's the equivalent of being, nearly scoring points in a Moto 2 race, right?
You were in Franco and Tini was on a semi-fact. You have 54 riders. They took an entry of 54. 34 made the grid. The other 20.
I went home, see you later.
You got that. If you didn't qualify, you got nothing.
Yeah.
So you had like maybe, we'll say 16 regulars following the Grand Prix. Every Grand Prix. And then you got like me, Con, Joey, Norman Brown. Yeah. We would have done like the British Grand Prix. Or you'd have got a few. But you were in that bunch. Of trying to qualify. Yeah. That was so flipping hard. Jesus, the race was a piece of cake. Yeah. The qualifying was mental. Like, you were so much. The first Grand Prix, Donnie Robson taught me something. I'm going to teach you it now. I'm not going to teach you it. I'll tell you it after.
Okay.
I wouldn't want...
We'll keep it.
I'll tell you something.
I want to keep it for 2026.
Right. But Donnie Robson, I thought I was going really good, except for a right and a left on the straight. And like, there were like 54 of us there, and you're in these boys, and down and boom, and right, and I went right. I always went that way. Yeah. Wide. And then it come to the left on the straight there, going that way, and I'm heading for Portavogie when you want to go to Newton Arts. Yeah. And you can't get the power on the big lane. I'm struggling. And then if it come in where it didn't go wide, it was slow. Yeah. So Donnie Robson come over, tell me I think it was after Donnie had broke his leg bad in the Grand Prix, some pilot in this thing. Yeah. And Donnie come over and he says, how you getting on out there? I said, Donnie, I think I'm going really good. I said, well, I'm struggling at the end of I forget the name of the street. And I says, the right and the left. I says, I even try going in a bit slower than the bike in front of me. I says, I was watching you there. And Donnie told me a thing to do. Right. And I says, will that work? He says, it'll work. So then out in the next qualifying, I went down into the corner, named the deck, and done exactly what he said. And I was waiting on the thing going down the road.
Really?
And this boy in front, and I'm down and flip. I actually was able to go tighter than him.
Right.
And for the left, then I was crawling over him the way out.
Yeah.
Like, flipping.
Oh, I can't wait to hear
Well over a second on
Right
that
there.
there.
Is that just that alone?
That alone, qualified, no problem. So then, I was doing this everywhere around the course. Because if it works, this corner has to.
I work everywhere
Right?
else.
So I was doing this, and I learned to be, I was really hard in front tires.
Yeah.
I always say it's the sign of a good rider if you can destroy a front and not the rear.
Yeah.
It's easy to destroy a rear.
Yeah.
But it's harder to do a front. And I always would have had, if I went to Kirkistown, I went out the new front. I always had either a really good front that I had used that I had in rack, which was seldom. I had to run 2 fronts in and hung one up in the van.
Yeah.
And you had to run a tire in them days. You did not a lap. You had to do 3 or 4 laps. You had to, and I always had it hanging up. And then that's the famous one. Then Joey come at the first knee Robinson, the big one.
Yeah.
So I would say, Joey came over and I was standing at the back of the van. He says, "You wouldn't have a front Dunlop?" And he says, "This Maxton's not working so good." I said, "Well, Joey, it'd be kind of hard to say no because you stand looking at it."
I know.
I said, "Do you need a front tire?" And I just left it. And I says, it's done 4 laps running. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
He beat me.
Well, think of all the times you beat him.
But in Joey's way, Joey never would have turned around and says, I'll get you a new tire or I'll pay you for that.
Yeah.
He didn't work like that.
No, he'd have done another favour for you.
The gearbox. You know, he fixed my gearbox.
For nothing.
And he would expect that sort of
type of return.
Yeah. Or maybe, it could, that would have been after the Northwest, I think.
Absolutely. So after the Grand Prix and you done your European rounds, they were obviously, what would be now a wild card, really then. So we touched on it there about the 4-stroke sort of days. When were you trying to hold on to the 2 strokes as much as you can? You came in here as 2-stroke down there and you said you were 2-stroke man
2 strokes.
Through and through. Did you try and hold on? Were you one of these on the 500 while these 750 Kawasaki's and all were coming out and starting to dominate?
No, it was 2 strokes were here. Truthful.
Yeah.
Danny packed in the racing and I hadn't got a bike.
Right.
You'd probably laugh. I thought somebody will
give you something.
Jesus Christ.
No, didn't.
Not a phone call.
Not a phone call. I didn't have a bike probably all year, near enough. All year.
So would have been that 88, 89?
I read for Snowden Garrett, give me a 250 Honda and a Rotax.
Right.
And I read that and I was building the house I live in now. And I was just, things took a turn. It wasn't the best. It was kind of hard. You could laugh. Like, you had to bump start it. It was hard to start. It just, you could not get that thing to start. You're going to laugh at me, but I'll tell you what I done.
Right.
And it worked. I don't care. Like, you'd have bumped that 3 or 4 times. The time you got it going, it'd have been gone.
Right.
The race was over.
Yeah.
And I could do it. And Dawn would have come down the line and had a 10 easy start. You think. And they're clear the grid, and they're on no walking across.
No way.
You were standing on the line, you'd have seen this 10 easy start firing through there.
Jesus.
And see as you drop the clutch and that thing fired up.
I'm sure it did. The rashness continues, Corey. The rashness continues.
Unreal.
So it worked. She fired first bump. And she went up like you'd have hit her.
You still be pushing it?
Yeah.
Hey, you wouldn't have oiled the plugs anyway.
No.
We got an easy start in
Don't worry. We've been either.
Brilliant.
A question I have just before we go a wee bit further. So you're talking about your Grand Prix and your two-strokes and stuff. Did you have a desire to go Grand Prix racing? Was that
no? I was. This is a part of me. I was the most laid back, even further laid back than you. I think
you still are.
I would love to say I spent the time in the garage that other riders did. I done what I had to do.
Yeah.
I was in the garage a couple of nights a week.
Yeah.
But like would
you say you done the bare minimum?
I look at brake pads in it, and the chains on it and the thing, but sometimes I maybe cleaned it on a Saturday morning. Hi from the week,
Hi from the Saturday before.
Yeah. I had a life, but I also think it helped me because I never tired of it. If you understand, whenever I did go to the first four-stroke I read was for your man.
For Wenty.
And he so what we will describe will just be straight and honest. Great to ride for. We're still, we're still real good friends. Me, Winston, okay.
There's never a kind of a weekend that you're not in or in our garage when you went to your practice.
He always said I was the best, but I think he's sort of. I think
he tells you that too, doesn't he?
Not really, no.
No, doesn't he?
See, I'm probably the slowest person ever raced for McAdoo's if you think about their line.
He always said to me, he says, you were the fastest. That read for me, but I think I'm second now.
Right.
Well, I must be third. There must be someone else.
No.
You're trying to save yourself here.
So, I always liked them telling me that, but he hasn't told me it in a long time. So I read Winston's RC30, which was not a very good bike.
No.
Lovely days, and we went. I remember, like Winston has a laugh when he hears me saying this because he knows he's a bad temper.
Right.
He has a bad temper.
Is he a bad temper?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen it, but
He has.
Yeah.
He's got older. He's maybe melody. But he's 100%. And I always remember we're the Ulster Grand Prix, and I lapped at 100 and. Well, I'll tell you, I lapped 115 something, and I had a wee 250 belonged to the Welsh boys, and I got a bit of blue gas for it, and I lapped at 115 on the 250. It was quite quick in the days, and I had a good race on it, and I was midfield in Winston's RC30. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I was sitting in the back of the van, Winston, pacing up, pacing down, pacing up, pacing down. And I said, Don, Winston's not happy. I says, I don't know what I've done, but I know he's not happy. He's pacing up, he's pacing down. I had enough. I says, Winston, you keep walking up and down. I says, what's wrong? Just tell me. Well, he says, how come, he says, you lapped at 115.3 something mile an hour, not 250, and you only lapped at 115.4 on my RC. I says, Winston, is that why you've been walking up and down? I says, that's dead easy. Yeah. I says, see that 250? That's a cracking way bike. And your RC30's the fucking biggest bundle of shit I ever put my leg over. I says, but I'll tell you what. I says, go down there. They used to put all the speed trap times up. No. I says, you go down there and you look at the speed trap times. Yeah. And I says, if you can get anybody with a speed trap time that I have on your bike, lapping anywhere, even near, tell me. I says, never mind faster, come back up to me. Right. I said, and we'll talk about it. So off Winston goes, straight down the paddock. I go, flip me down, I hope I'm ready. Exactly. Sure enough, you're spoofing him. Winston come back, didn't come near me, straight on. that was that. So I'm sitting in the house. This had happened, maybe it would happen an odd time. And the phone goes. And Winston says, I went down today, he says, and I looked at them speed trap times. I says, oh, I know, I've seen you going down. And I says, well, he says, well, I didn't realise, you know. He says, how big a bundle that bike is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
He says, but if you'll persevere and you ride that bike for the rest of the year, I promise you I will give you a proper motorbike for next year.
Right.
And I says, thank you, Winston. That's how I'm happy at that.
Brilliant.
And that's when Winston McAdoo become a proper sponsor.
Yep.
Because the next year, he gave me an RC30 and I put it in the front row of the grid at the Northwest.
Right.
That you just summed up Winston McAdoo there.
And now he, like,
I felt like he was in the room.
if Winston McAdoo could get a tenth of a second and it was $5,000, he'd bat.
It would be.
Yeah.
No issue.
No, it's
No issue. But
Brilliant.
it's people like him that has give people like us opportunities.
Yeah.
And he races with the heart.
I love it.
Brilliant.
Loves it.
And Jason.
And Jason,
like,
he's just
the
a
whole
product of
thing.
Winston. Like.
Yeah.
And
And I honestly I don't mean that I done this and done that, but Winston become like a really, he changed then the next year. Tony Scott done the engine and I put it in the front row on a Saturday night or the Thursday night, and I come in, Winston's over the moon. You know what I mean? Like a passion he loves his racing.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like
I says, Winston, that bike lost 500 revs in the last lap heading to Korie. He said, heading to Port Rice.
Yeah.
And Tony Scott was there. I said, Tony, it lost 500 revs. I said, says, second on the grid, he says. On one of my RC30s, we split Honda Britons, we split the Suzuki, private.
Yeah.
Like, and this bike probably was 4 or 5 year old. It wasn't like, I had a real good build and everything. It was a pro. It was proper. And they went out in the thing, the warm up lap, down the back straight and everything. It touched the valve.
Oh.
No spare engine. Northwest was finished for the day.
Oh. And that was that the Saturday?
But I'd said in the Thursday night.
there's something not right.
Tony Scott, after that, they just couldn't believe it. I'd put it in
Either
second on the grid.
Yeah.
There was, and maybe I wasn't thick enough. They said no. There's something wrong.
And I know more than anyone, that's enough to probably make Winston McAdoo cry.
Is that right?
Oh,
That would have devastated him. Because he takes great pride as well, and so does Jason. And you know, especially in your type of era and a wee bit later on, to see if they could split the factories. Like they'll still put as much money in as anyone. Yeah. But see if they can put their privateer bike in the headhunt of any factory, that gives them that big.
We had some Philip. We went to Honda Britain. Honda Britain come to Kirkistown for a Honda Britain display with Philip.
Right.
So to be fair to Philip, my dump days were if I was fine the dump and on a drying track suited me, and we had a Pirelli tire contract, and the Pirelli wet was great on a drying track. It wasn't very good in them days in the wet.
Right. So
I had the Pirelli wet front, which was great if the track was drying. It was brilliant tire, and Kirkistown was an iffy day. I beat Philip in both the races. Honda Britain, they were all there. They thought they were coming over for a parade with Philip. Winston was over the moon.
Brilliant.
You could did I have the best tires in the race? Yes, I
doesn't matter.
I did have.
Yeah.
No.
Still have to get it round.
You still have to get it round.
They weren't maybe on the dry the best, but at the end. But and on them conditions, they were brilliant. So they were
Winston jumping for joy as well. I can just picture it now. It must be like the Winston I see now, but probably with more hair. And it was just awesome.
We Winston buzzing.
I speak to Winston most meetings, if not them all.
And so, how many years did you race for McAdoo?
couple of years, and then
Because you were teammates with Brian Reid with him.
that's what happened.
Oh, was that what happened? Was that the
He
downfall?
put me out the grass.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
No, I didn't really. Like, we all have egos.
Mhm.
And I was riding for Winston, so I suppose the answer was doing a good enough job. Well, probably mustn't have been if he brought somebody else in.
Right.
But I had 2 bikes, and all of a sudden, like, me and Brian Reid are good friends.
Mhm.
All right, no, we actually are still.
Okay.
So Brian was sort of about Easter Saturday and Easter Monday, and I said to Don, and Brian Reid's around here all the time, something going on. So the next thing was Brian was in, and then we raced together all year with some real good races, like, and the next year, probably I would have given every penny I got in sponsorship. With Brian, never.
Right.
Never as tight as a duck's.
Okay.
Sorry, Brian, but you know it's true.
Did you have to pay into the team then, or was it
no.
off your own
I
bat?
believe everything I won was mine.
Yep.
I didn't buy tires, but I had a Pirelli tire contract.
Right.
I got free tires from a 600 and a lot for the Superbike as well.
Right.
So it was like, it was a great thing to have in them days. So if somebody sponsored me, I'd give that to Winston.
Brilliant. And this was just off your own bat.
So you probably remember the year Charles Hurst went on fire, got burnt.
Right.
And it sounds so maybe amateur or whatever then, but I believe I was the fastest.
Yeah.
But that's the mentality you have to have as well.
You have to have it.
Yeah. Or your beat.
If you don't believe you can win, the chances you win are slim.
Yeah.
You must believe. And you want to have that bit of an air about you. So, Brian, the bikes were being built, and Charles Hurst went on fire. And Winston rang me. Says, Alan, he says, do you hear about the fire? I says, aye. He says, your 600 was burnt.
Your 600 and Charles Hurst?
Was in Charles Hurst. I says, my 600 once? I says, sure, there's one at TTS. Oh, that's Brian's.
Right. A Lost Corner?
No, TTS, the
Tolchester tuning shop.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I says, Winston, what do you mean? My 600? I says, one of the 600s was burnt. I was in the team. I says, Winston, I'm not being funny. I don't play second fiddle. There was one burnt. He says, but I'm ringing you to tell you, I don't know if we can get a new one through and done in time.
Right.
I says, right. And I was a bit cut. But like, come here, Brian Reid's a TT winner. Was going to go to the TT and give great results for Winston. And I wasn't a TT rider. So, I half understood it. But anyway, I walked up to JNF Trucks and asked them to buy me a 600.
Right.
Which they did.
Brilliant.
And so I would have been, we're coming into like the mid-90s now.
Yeah.
See, just when you...
So that's when I left Winston.
Yes,
I left Winston and we spoke on the phone. To be fair to Winston, he said, you keep all your sponsorship and ride for me. And I said, no. I'm not talking about him in a bad way, because I think a world of him. I think I overreacted, probably, yes. But
it was just a moment at that time.
I wasn't ready to be second fiddle.
No.
And I thought I was...
Oh, you were better than what you thought you were getting.
No, it was probably... I just didn't like being said it was mine.
Yes. Right. Like something clicked in you. And
it's just done me out of the prom a bit. And went and asked somebody the next day to buy me a bike, and they bought me one. And then I was at the ballroom, and always remember Winston come to me I won the Regal in Winston 600, like.
That's right.
The last race, like, Winston come to me at Kirkistown and says, Alan, I regret missing them doing that. And he says, I wasn't fair.
Mm-hmm.
But me and Winston are best friends. And whenever the Regal, whenever the bike, those Chris Richards and oil filter fell off.
Right, okay.
I hit the oil, went down like a bag of spuds. Bike was damaged bad, but lucky enough, Colin Cooper was racing for Winston.
Yeah.
And I went up, they were all on the line, and I went up and tapped on the shoulder. I says, Colin, you want to do me a favour? He says, what? I says, get off this. And if the race had actually started, I don't think I would have got away with it.
Right.
But because of the whole melee and oil in the track and all, they took the bikes off the race, and this race was then a complete rerun.
Yeah.
And because it was a complete rerun, I was able to start.
Right. Brilliant.
I was able to start.
Class, so you just nipped his bike.
Well,
that would be
I finished second to Derek.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I finished second to Derek Young in the first race, but as soon as I got it in, it got the forks dropped down through. It was just steering like a boat.
You got more to your set.
I just got a turn.
Yeah.
And sat it up and I won the last one there.
Brilliant.
And won the championship by a point.
I was going to ask, because you touched on it, but obviously saying Brian Reid was TT rider. Was the TT ever on your radar?
I entered it once.
Yeah?
I entered it when I was riding for Johnny Rea, but it broke my kneecap, who we spoke about earlier.
Right.
I tried to ride the Northwest. I wasn't fit. And to go to the TT, no, I was entered. It would be on the programme that year.
Yeah.
So,
it was, and you would never thought about going again? Or?
I was 27. And I went, oh God, sir, I'll be quit this in a few years. Like, you know, I didn't think it was going to go on till I was 39.
Is that right? That's sick. What about, I was thinking about this on the way up the road, just when we're touching on the TT sort of thing. What did you think of Glenn?
Doing the TT?
Did he say to you, I want to do the TT? Or?
Oh, I knew he had thoughts about it. But like, he knew my thoughts.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Was it a stressful 2 weeks for Young?
Very stressful. I'm not anti-road racing. You know, it's everybody their own. But do I like my son road racing? No. Don't.
TT's the worst place for it too. Like, you're away.
Flip me. Any road race is fast. You know, as fast as, you know, but I done it. You know, so.
So you didn't want to be a hypocrite?
I don't knock it. But I'm totally honest, you know. I don't think there'd be too many. I just don't think there'd be too many ex-racers would want their son to road race.
Right, yeah.
No, you're completely right.
Because they know themselves.
It could be diplomatic here and say, oh, I love the roads. And I'll go down great, and there'll be some people who hear me saying that and go, there's full set and saying that or something. And it's everybody their own. It's just...
That's where some people forget that you have to see your sons through the eyes of a parent as well. So you want to see the well-being of your son. And you... Obviously, short circuit racing isn't not dangerous, if you know what I mean.
No.
But you're trying to mitigate these you're trying to, you know, dampen the risk assessment in your mind.
I'm a parent first. Like, don't get me wrong. Glenn won the Northwest. Like, I was over the moon for him. Buzzing. I was dancing in that marquee. I was twisting right down to the ground, like with the young ones. They'll have a great night. There's another story. Brilliant night. We hadn't eaten, so we went straight after the last race into the marquee. Yeah, I'm not a massive drinker. I can drink a vodka, but if I drink too much beer, I'll start. For some reason, I drink vodka and go on a wee bit longer. So we were on having a few.
You off shoulder,
slipping the clutch.
We hadn't eaten. I was so bored, dancing. I was hungry. I said, "Flip me, I'm starving," because we didn't really have much lunch because of the way the racing was going. And we're in great form, so phoned up Donamos and we ordered 20 pizzas. The crowd was right, just without the car, like they're partying, they're having a night out.
You were hungry.
Your son just won the Northwest, they never won. Was I happy for him? Yeah. The racing was over. There's no pressure.
Time to have fun.
Time to have fun. So the Donald pizzas. We had all the sponsors and their wives, and a lot of them were awfully. And so the pizzas, there was some empty tables up along the top at the end of
the marquee. Yeah.
And we sat the pizzas on the thing. We were setting the pizzas out. And the next thing is a queue for them. And this woman says, "It's awfully good in the Northwest to put on pizzas."
I can see Alan's face going bright red.
Alan, what are we going to do? I says, "Let them have it."
Yeah.
And they queued. I done the Northwest good. All the tables that people bought tables thought the Northwest had put these pizzas on. And they were all eating the pizzas. And I just said to the thing, I said, just go back down and bring it the same again. So anybody was in the marquee the next day, you never seen as many empty boxes.
Is that right? Don was made of...
Was I worried about paying for 20 pizzas? No.
Irwin's catering.
Yeah.
Irwin's catering. No, brilliant. So I just want to kind of go to the end of your racing. So you went McAdoo, you went to JNF Trucks. But you stayed with them for right well, because you were Ducatis and other bits and pieces. Still got on really well with Winston, you know. Yeah. Still do. Probably, as I said, I've done my other prom a bit. It was probably a bit amateur. Yeah, but so it's way of life to do things. And so I went to JNF and moved some good crack. The wife gave me, I had no 750 when I went. I lost the Superbike. So I went, Ian Simpson had a bike up for sale, a 750 Kawasaki. I had no money. And then the wife had an insurance policy it was due to pay out, so she gave me the money. Right. JNF gave me some money towards it. They didn't own any of it. They just gave me some sponsorship towards it. Yeah. And I went over and I bought Ian Simpson's 750 Kawasaki. Right. Derek Young was riding for Winston. So the first race, I arrived to Kirkistown. This never read it. No test day, no nothing. Brought it home Thursday and was at the Kirkistown Saturday.
On the big heavy 750.
Jesus, was that taking the head staggers?
I'm sure.
It was wickedly bad. And Derek was riding Winston's Kawasaki. Yeah. I went down the streets and the thing's shaking. Everywhere it went light, it was taking my head. Fifth gear ones, like massive ones. Like anybody with any sense would have pulled it in, but that was never my top of my list and the sense part. And I always thought I could adapt to some. I could ride some that wasn't right. Yeah. So I caught Derek on the 2 warm-up laps. And I was behind him, my bike was steady as a rock. Vincent's mine was, she was too high in the back. She needed lowered to make her. But there's nothing you can do then. So I brought it round the lane. Next thing, Derek wheels off Vincent's bike and brings out his own RC30. Right. I said to Don, who was with me all my racing career, I says, "Let me, Don, I wish I was riding that bike. Every offers Alan 10 days better than this thing." Well, we were laughing. It's just our way. We were laughing all the way. But I won it.
You won it?
I won it.
The first time you sat on it, first race.
I won it.
I won it.
So the story of this bike is I won that, and then we got this thing set up. Went to Kirkistown for a day and got her set up a wee bit more my liking. And went to Mandello Park. I won a few races up here on it. Went to Mandello. Qualified pole. Won the first race. Won the second race. the big race. This guy comes over to me. I tell you, I paid £4,300 for it.
Right.
I was earning £60 a week. My wife would give me her life insurance thing to buy it. I couldn't believe she parted with money. It's the first time in her life she parted with anything. And I'm sitting, and this guy comes over to me and Delway says, I really like that bike.
Mm-hmm.
I says, that's a good bike. Yeah. He said, no. He says, I want to buy it.
Right.
He says, would you sell it? I says, no, not really, no. And Matt Llewellyn's Kawasaki was up for sale as well.
Yeah.
And I said, no. He says, I'll give you £8,000 for it.
Right.
Sterling. Just like that. I went, Jesus.
Double
£60 a week.
Yeah.
£4,000. Only £60 for £4,000. Well, I'm good at maths. Right. So my brain's working. I'm working for that going, I'm working for a year.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's just off from near a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked over to Frank, JNF. I says, Frank, your man's just offered to buy the bike. I says, he offered me £8,000 for it. He says, what'd you pay for it? And I says, 4,200. He says, well, not so profit. He says, I like that bike. I says, you what? He says, I really like that bike. I says, you telling me not to sell it? No, I'm not telling you that, but I really like it. Well, JNF were good to me, like.
Yeah.
So I went, right. I couldn't believe it. So I walked over to him and I says, can't sell it.
Right.
I says, sponsors like it.
Yeah.
Can't sell it. So I won the last race.
Uh-huh.
Men, we're packing up. He comes over again. He says, he was a head boy at Pirelli, the importer of Pirelli tires from the south of him. And he says, when I say I want to buy it, I want that bike.
What?
He says, I'll give you a check. He says, providing you don't go over 10,000, you fill it in exactly what you want.
No way.
That's my life.
Is that right?
So I walks over. This is true.
Back to Frank.
You have to know me. I walks over to Frank. I says, Frank, he says, can't believe this. I says, man's just offered me 10 grand. He says, that's a lot of money. I says, it is. He says, I like that bike.
Oh no, Frank, what are you doing?
You break my fucking heart.
He says, I says, Frank, I earn £60 a week. 10 weeks is £600.
Mm-hmm.
5, 6 is £3,000. So I earn £3,120 a year, just in case I think the maths don't work. Right? I says, I'm making £6,000 here, I have 2-year wage.
Yeah.
He says, I know, well. I says, like, Matt Llewellyn's bike for sale. He's looking 5.5, but I said, sure, I'll buy it for 5 and not less.
Yeah.
I says, like, I like that bike.
Oh, flip's sake.
Says,
Frankie boy.
Sake. And I couldn't believe it. And I walked over, and, like, money's not everything in life, but it does help.
It does help.
I said, no, Tom. I says, please. I says, look, I'm not selling it.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do. You're offering me a lot of money for it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't sell it. My sponsor likes it and I don't want to sell it.
Yeah.
Please, I says,
don't offer me any more.
In the van, way home. So it was Sunday and I walked into JNF Trucks on Monday. And Frank threw me a check down, bought the bike off me.
No, he didn't.
Did.
Much.
Didn't give me 10 grand. Seriously, he gave me 2 grand profit.
Class.
Brilliant.
That's what he gave me.
Brilliant.
He says, I really appreciate you not selling that bike. He says, that was like 2 years' wages you turned down because I said I liked it. He says,
because you were loyal to him.
There they are. He says, it's not 10 grand, but he says, I think you've done all right and I'll run it as well.
And you got to ride it.
He
continued to ride
bought
it.
Tires, he run the whole bike.
That's worth more than 10 grand, that.
I don't know, 10 grand was good.
I imagine that was a torturous drive home from Mandela.
So, yeah.
So here's another good sponsor of yours.
They were, yeah.
They probably
still friends with them.
Yeah.
You know, but it's great to say. I didn't ever fall out with anybody
No.
that sponsored me.
You notice that you're still well appreciated and well liked in the paddock. There's no on and no garage you can't walk into.
Without being welcome.
Well, some people like Tim Martin would say when I'm at the British, I'm walking. No, I have to admit, I would go out. I wouldn't go in like all the time, but like maybe once a weekend I'll go out and have my dinner on.
Yeah.
Tim would make you welcome. I've been in Taz, I've been in PBM,
Anywhere for free feed.
Brilliant.
No, I like good food.
Yeah.
Good food.
You know what's the best food in the hospitality of BSB at the moment?
PBM and Martrain are the best.
Yeah.
Right.
Depending on what day you go. I'm being diplomatic, but I eat Martrain quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right, okay. They've got
things that happen that you really appreciate, like John Griffin.
Yeah.
And like John would go, and John and Davy Beatty bought Bishop's Court and put their every penny they borrowed in their house, whatever, to buy it.
Yeah.
Bishop's Court wouldn't be here the day without.
No,
That's true.
That's
And
true.
we things you find out in life. Tim Martin told John Griffin, "You eat my hospitality any time you like."
right.
Oh, very good.
And John's got older now, like. But,
He still goes to most BSBs, doesn't he?
Oh, why, yeah. He goes, me and John and Lexi go together.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's the summer way.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So that JNF trucks, that would have been one of the last sort of teams you rode for, was it?
It was. I was the ride for GS Motorcycles the next year.
Right.
And then I was 39 and Glenn got injured in a car crash.
Right.
And he's badly injured, so he was. My next door neighbour and her son were killed in the car.
Oh, dear.
It took me a wee while to get over it too. And
sort of flicked the switch on you, but
I was 39 and had it 20 years. I had a ball.
yep.
Yeah.
I mean a ball.
Sounds like it.
Life, I didn't want to see the hurt in the family again.
Yeah.
So I pulled the plug.
Yeah.
But hey, see at the Northwest the next year. And they're going down that tunnel. You're standing there.
Oh, did you get the itchy feet?
Oh, burning.
Really?
I give every penny I had to get out of my life.
Yeah.
Flip's sake.
Every penny. I would die and go down that tunnel.
Just to get that.
It's worse. It's worse being there. You see a lot of riders that are actually they retire and then just disappear.
No, I fully understand it. Like I understand what you say with the Northwest stuff. Like I couldn't go to a BSB race to go and enjoy it. That would be the worst thing for me.
Kill you.
It would kill you more than anything because you're not fucking there.
You're
Like.
BSB champion, race winner. And
But it's still like obviously I'm not there now, so it's the same thing. You just have that.
You know you can do it, but
You do it, but you can't. I'm sure
no path
like
to it.
only a year went by, you could still do Northwest and do well. If you know what I mean, it's that feeling.
no, I think I'm too stiff and old.
Well, maybe not now. Maybe
I have
not
to
now.
stop to
but-
lubricate the knee.
So
get the cod liver oil out.
was it after you, or maybe it was during the end of your career, is when your youngsters started racing?
No, they actually were racing when I was still racing.
When you were still racing? So.
Yeah. No, did I ever have a guilt? Like the wife could drive a Sprinter as good as any man. Like she's driven like she was driving a Mini. She's good on it. Like,
right?
She really is. And but in them days we didn't have a Sprinter. We had an estate car, and I had to see me working, especially when I had the Ducati. The parts might not come in the Friday. And you were working late Friday, and I see me coming home 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning.
Sorry.
And you're racing that day, and into the garage, and finishing off their bikes and loading up the car.
Really?
And the wife took the kids motocross.
Brilliant. Schoolboy motocross, and then you were away racing.
Yeah.
Like that, not many women would have. And then I really felt guilty one year. I got paid a few quid to go to Killalane.
Yeah.
That'd be another story to tell you. So it really hurt Johnny Rea when he found out I was getting paid.
Oh, God, really? Brilliant.
He was dying to know where I was getting paid. How often I was getting paid. I told him everywhere, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
he didn't know. And I went to Killalea, and Johnny's mechanic went with me. So I was driving in the pits. And as soon as I got the gate, I got this envelope handed to me. It was obvious what was in the envelope.
Yeah.
Johnny's mechanic who was down with me says, "Do you get that everywhere you go?" I says, "I most places."
Yeah.
I says, "Why, does Johnny not get it?" If he wants to bite, like, I'll feed him.
Brilliant, yeah.
No, I said, "Johnny's bound to get it." So when I left, I won Killalea. And me and John went down, we were having T-bone steaks.
Brilliant.
And what do you call shenanigans?
Yeah.
And down in there.
Oh, yeah.
We were after the race, we were in having T-bone steaks.
Brilliant.
The wife had took the kids motocross.
Oh, and you were sitting eating
For the weekend, not that far, in Johnstown.
Right, yeah.
Right, so she was there Saturday and Sunday, and I was at Killalea. After the race, we had T-bone steaks and all that, and I stayed in the bed and breakfast, and we come up home on the Sunday night, and the wife was home before me, like, I said, "It's a good weekend." She's saying, "Yeah, the kids, this and that," and I says, "Where to stay?" She says, "No, stay in the tent in the paddock." I says, "You're in the tent." I says, "Just stop on the way home." I says, "I stopped to chip and get chips." And I went, "God, there's you sitting there eating the steaks." And I actually got to I felt guilty.
I feel guilty for you.
Right.
Killalea was some track, but did it have the tree in the middle of the road?
Oh,
You did it?
I got the Ducati, I took the lead past Dave Leach. The end of the first lap, I passed Dave. Down that wee narrow road, that is narrow.
Under the trees?
That is like
Is Killeen the one that's like, there's a racetrack, it's like these Sheridan roads, Killeen Scary?
The same main straight.
Right,
Except you
Scary.
turn right for Killalea.
Right, okay, yeah.
You turn left for Scary's at the end of the street. So I come down up the Man of Walls at the corner.
Man of War, yeah.
There's a tree. I left the braking too late in the Ducati. I got the Ducati around the outside of that and back on the track.
It was Michael Sweeney said to me, he was showing me around. I was a newcomer, and he says, "Now, look at the tree. You can go to the right or the left. Pick your line and stay with it." I thought, and never a true word.
Yeah.
And it was a 600.
Yeah.
But they barricaded it off then during the race. And I
No,
really
I
done without
done the
doing it.
barricade. I went around the outside of
Not
it.
them.
Actually, it was the first lap because Dave Leach passed me then on the inside on the right line, and then I done him at the end of the last break and at the end of the last corner.
Brilliant.
Right, guys. I'm thinking we're probably, how long have we been recording for? Maybe
I say 3 hours.
about 2 hours. I think you've got enough stories and you're interested enough to make us a two-parter. If you're happy enough to come back.
I'll do a two-parter with you because, well, we're only scratching.
We're only
Yeah.
So I think
Scratching the surface.
Alan's well entitled to have a two-parter.
100%.
100%.
Yeah,
If you're
100%.
happy enough to come back and do one with us,
I'll do it for the crowd.
fantastic,
Brilliant.
man. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
You've told me stories that I never even heard of before.
Yeah.
You've just been fantastic. We do a question for all our guests at the end. Since we're going to have a two-parter, I'll get you a different question for the next time, but
Right.
I want to know this one because I think it's going to be a fantastic one. In all your years of racing, you've been around many paddocks, road and short circuit. Who's the biggest live wire you ever met? Who's the biggest nutbag?
Head case. I know you know plenty of them, but
Yes,
The maddest.
the modest.
Oh, God, there's so many. The maddest. Oh.
bear in mind, this man's been Grand Prix
I know,
paddocks and
I
everything.
know. Well, he's
Is
in
it
the road
difficult?
race. That's what's panicking me.
The road race. We'll pick a road racer.
I don't think
Probably the maddest thing at a race was Kenny Irons.
Kenny Irons. Who's Kenny Irons?
a Grand Prix Suzuki rider.
Right.
Red for Suzuki GP. Good rider.
Yeah.
He was killed. Brands Hatch, I think. He was killed.
Oh, right, okay.
Was he a real live wire?
And we were all out. We were all in probably the C-Splice or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we were coming back up. Just like a madness thing happened. Sandy, Johnny Rea's mechanic.
Yeah.
We were in the back of the van. I knew they were doing it. There was the banter. There's a great crack of mad all night.
Yeah.
And I said, Sandy, how long? And they're coming up the road and I slammed the brakes on. And Sandy, he just went flying head first into the thing. It sounds mad, but like, but I've had a few. Yeah. Sandy was absolutely knocked out, like, totally out.
Jesus Christ. Out cold.
It was sort of funny, and then you were worrying because it didn't come around quick enough.
Oh, right, okay. It was like a faded laugh.
Like, there's so many, like, mad, what do you call him? He was killing a man, big heavy boy. Read a Kawasaki, and I know his name, Simon Back. Simon was quite
Simon Back, was he a good crack as well?
Yeah, he was. Big lump of a boy, like, big lump, carried a bit of weight. Ride a motorbike.
Did he ride for Honda Britain as well, did he, at one stage? Or he rode maybe something, maybe Ducatis?
I don't know, he rode something strict.
Yeah.
He did ride for a team.
So we're going for Kenny Irons and Simon Back.
Simon Back was good. I flipped they all were, like,
yeah.
All.
Right, I'm going to have to think of a different question for next episode. Alan, thank you very much, man. This has been a blast. I really appreciate it. In the next episode, we're going to get on
Johnny Rea with a drink.
Johnny Rea
totally
with a drink?
Different. Oh,
this like, senior?
Oh,
yeah.
Johnny Rea was like one drink, and I'm like, he's the dearest.
Have you got any mad stories?
No, not
now. We'll keep it for next one.
Keep it for next one.
But give him one drink. I was like flicking the switch.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, and then the farmer.
You, myself, and Irene, sort of thing.
Me, Johnny Rea, Mark Farmer, and the C-Splice.
Yeah.
Farmer run out of steam. We were holding him up. Still buying him drink. Yeah.
Right.
There's so many stories.
So many.
We'll get to them next time.
As I say, it's going to be like an Alan Irwin series.
It is.
It's going to be about Alan. Thank you very much.
Until episode 2. Absolute gentleman.
That was awesome.
Thank
you very much.
Happy days.
That was class.
Okay,
That was definitely the best one we had yet.